Hello, hello. My shadow is welcoming you to another day on Dartmoor, and my name is Drake, and we're down here in the Round Garden today. I just wanted to show you what we've been up to down here, and as you can see in the Round Garden, it's an area that we created last year, and it's in its first year, and it was created out of pasture, and it's just doing wonderfully well. So let's have a look and see what's going on, shall we? Right, so if we go down, we'll start down here, because I just look at this. This looks like common rust cap to me, and I might be mistaken because they're notoriously difficult to identify fungi, but I know they love growing in wood chipping, and this wood chipping is from our own trees that we had to cut back in the autumn this year. So they've got really busy and growing really well, and it's always a good sign seeing lots of healthy fungi growing in the garden. Across here we've got some sorrel. Sorrel I grow everywhere. This is French sorrel, and it's just wonderfully delicious, sour tasting vegetable that you can put in your soups and just so many other dishes. It's not just for salads. And going across, we've got over here some calendula growing, and calendula is always wonderful to have any time of the year. Whilst it keeps flowering, it's quite good at keeping, make it through the first frost, I think. And these are the seeds which are just coming through, worth collecting and then re-sowing next spring. So what else we've got going on in here? Well, we've got, look at that growing there. So that's from the sorrel. These are the wonderful flowers of sorrel, and don't they have a wonderful colour to them? It's like a slight pinky colour, and I actually use these as a cut flower because I just think they're just beautiful to look at. And then as we come back around and have a look at what else we've got going on down here, so we've got some broccoli. It looks like the caterpillars of probably the white butterfly variety, cabbage white, will have been at them. So they'll be good for next year. They're all planted this year, but they actually start producing broccoli next year. And as we move across, we've got here yuccan. And this wonderful plant here is really great because it produces these wonderful tubers, which are a little bit like chestnuts. Water chestnuts that you might have in a Chinese or Asian dish. And they're lovely and crispy, and a wonderful thing to have over the winter. As we move across, and here, look, wonderful California poppy. And I love California poppy. I mean, even while it's just coming up into, I'm going to try and get it in a bit of sunlight. It's a wonderful shape and a wonderful sheen to it. Isn't it an absolutely gorgeous looking plant? And that's going to come in, they're coming into flower. And its seeds are amazing as well. These are its seed pods down here. There's one, but they need to go dry before they just literally pop open. And one that's popped open is just around here. There you go. So you can see all the little seeds in there ready to scatter on the ground and provide plants next spring. So we'll come back up again and see what we've got coming across here. So this is one of the vines that managed to survive the very cold spring we had, and it did for a lot of our vines, but this one managed to pull through. This is a North European variety, so hopefully we'll do well on Dartmoor. We've got down here a nice bay tree, which is newly planted, which is, every garden should have a bay tree. And as we come across, what do we have here? We have some, actually, this is evening primrose. Not in flower at the moment, but it obviously does flower and has a lovely yellow flower to it as well. And coming across, we've got some cabbages down here that have been much eaten, I can see, and still being eaten. But look at isn't it kind of just beautiful though? This kind of, what you're left with, this tracery. It's very beautiful. So even and this bit's fine. This will be great to eat. This will be delicious. So we go across, and we've got some kale, some Cavalier Nero growing there. Coming across here, we're into the world of chard, into rainbow chard. Here it is, and it's wonderful because it's actually right now being allowed to go to flower. And I always think it's really great to allow plants to grow their whole life cycle. And as we move across, here's some a more rainbow chard, but a lovely dark red variety. Isn't that gorgeous looking? That'll be delicious later on when I cook that up for supper. And then as we come round, nasturtiums, and then we've got over here, actually, this is New Zealand yam, and it's a lovely plant, and it looks, it's a very oxalis looking kind of plant, but it has, if I can find some over here we go, these lovely flowers. So it's just these very, very beautiful, delicate yellow flowers, which are an absolute joy, and it's been flowering all year, but they take a couple of years before they're ready. The tubers are ready to eat, so we've got to wait a while yet. Got to be patient. More chard here, the kale we just passed over as well, so then into chard again. We're allowing that to seed. Come across, got some chives down here, and we've got some mallow, field mallow growing here, some wildflowers, some salad Burnett, which is as the name may suggest, it's actually really nice in salad. And again, more sorrel. This is again, there's a French sorrel that's growing here. I did plant some field sorrel in here, but I rather think that the French sorrel has overwhelmed it. And then coming round, we've got what we've got going on here. We've got some borage from this year. Whether or not that comes through again next year is anybody's guess. We come round, what have we got over here? We've got some more chard and kale. I grow lots of chard and kale, and it's coming into its own this time of year, mainly because everything else is slowly disappearing, but the chard and the kale, especially the kale, takes on it takes on a whole new meaning, because it's like it becomes the tree of the garden. I mean, look at that. Isn't that beautiful how it just forms this wonderful feature in the garden? And anyway, that's what I marvel at. And here in the foreground, lots of lovely parsley. Always a really great plant to have in any garden. I eat that like I eat kale, as a side. I don't even treat it as a herb. And then as we move across, and comfrey I grow everywhere because it's so great at adding nutrients to the ground. You can make a composting tea out of its leaves. I chop off its leaves and use it as a mulch, but I just dot it around the garden and let it grow wherever it happens to be. And here, look at this wonderful bit of kale that's growing here as well, this lovely curly kale that's growing there. And then as we come across, what else have we got going on here? The potato beds are just finished now, and here is Jerusalem artichoke in the distance here. There we are, coming up to it now. And it didn't flower this year, which is a bit of a disappointment, because it's got such a beautiful yellow daisy stroke sunflower form to it, which is just really joyous. But what a big whopping great big plant that is. So that's going to have some wonderful tubers down there that we can munch on later on in the year. I like to leave things in the ground until as late as possible, because I'll be loving to dig those up in the winter and just enjoying them. What other stuff we got going on here? Lovage, lots of lovage here. We got lovage growing here. And as we come back around and over, we've got these are some black currants, and we come back round, we come back round, and again we've got a wonderful kale, which is acting like a lovely feature in the garden. As we come across and around, and here, oh, look at this, isn't that beautiful? More chard and chamomile and calendula. And oh, here's some self-seeded itself, actually. This is kind of common field sorrel. So this is a UK field sorrel, and it is delicious, absolutely delicious, and every bit as good as its neighbour here, which is the French sorrel. So you can see how much larger the French sorrel is, so you get more bang for your buck. But to my mind, it's just lovely having them both together, really. Look at that, they look fabulous. So that, my friends, is that. and I just bid you farewell. Thank you very much for coming by and spending some time with us here in the Round Garden. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and from me, thank you for your listening and have a really great day. Bye bye.